Hi guys, welcome to Real Estate and Beyond. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone who sent in a question or a comment based on last month's video. It is very much appreciated, so please keep those coming in. As a result, one of the more popular questions asked was, how do we acquire our first investment property? So in today's session, I would like to share with you the process and the steps that I took when I bought my first income property. Step one for me was to decide that now was the right time for me to invest. The next step was determining how much cash I had available to invest in my first deal. In step three, I knew things were going to get a little tricky, and there was a little bit of math involved in determining what was that maximum sales price that I could afford. So here's how I went about tackling that problem. I knew I had to account for all the cash that I had available, and I also had to account for my total investment costs. So, being in business for over 20 years, I always like to set aside a 10% buffer for those unexpected costs and things that we fail to account for. So I set aside $5,000, and now I was actually left with only $45,000 to invest. Next, I knew I did not have enough money to do an all cash transaction, so I had to borrow some of the money from a financial institution. And in order for me to get the best possible terms for the business loan, I had to commit to a 25% down payment. So that was a major investment cost for me. And I also knew that I had another 5% in other closing costs. So as a total investment cost, I was looking at 30%. And this is the equation that I use to figure out that magical number. Maximum sales price multiplied by my total investment cost, which was 30%, equals cash available to invest, which was $45,000. And when I did the math, $45,000 divided by 30%, the number that I got was $150,000. So now I knew the maximum sales price that I could afford based on my costs and resources I had was $150,000. In the next step, I wanted to build a team of professionals around me that could help me navigate through this entire process every step of the way in order for me to be as successful as I could be. So these are the people that I hired to be on my team in no order of importance. A real estate broker, a real estate attorney, a loan officer, and a home inspector. And let me spend just a few seconds on these folks because they can absolutely make or break a deal for you. Okay? I highly recommend that you interview 3 or 4 people in every area of expertise before you make a decision on whom you want to work with. The decision was made fairly easy for me based on how comfortable I felt with the people that I interviewed. Whoever I felt most comfortable with is the person that I went with. The trust factor that comes later on is you're working through a transaction, is you're going through a deal and figuring out truly where their priorities lie and if your interest is really their number one priority, right? But that comes later on in the process as you're actually working with these people, and it takes a bit of a leap of faith when you're going through this the first time. So make sure you interview several people in each area of expertise before you make a decision on who you want to work with. So now that I had my team of professionals around me, I started looking at different properties, and before long, I had a contract in front of me, which leads me to the last step in the process for me. This is where something very interesting and unexpected happened. Once I had this contract in front of me, all of a sudden, my fears, my doubts, my uncertainties surfaced. Just all of those feelings and emotions came to the top. And I had to physically and mentally make myself pull the trigger and make a decision to move forward. And the way that I got over the hump was really reconnecting and remembering why I was investing in the first place, having a strong personal vision, and truly understanding what's in it for me and what's at stake. That's what got me over the hump. So, to recap, the steps that I went through when I bought my first income property are: step one, make the decision that now is the right time for you to invest. Step two, find out exactly how much money you have available in cash to invest. Step 3, determine what is the maximum sales price that you can afford based on the resources you have and the projected investment costs. Step 4, have a team of professionals around you that can support you and that you can lean on through the entire process. And step 5, when the moment of truth comes, make sure you can pull the trigger and make the decision to move forward by reconnecting to your personal vision and truly understanding why you want to invest. Now, I hope that some of the information that I've shared with you today is meaningful and helpful to you. And as mentioned before, please keep your feedback coming. It is very much appreciated. Until next month, thanks for watching.